Good evening, my friends. This is Archangel Michael. How are we all doing this evening?
Fine.
I come this evening to enfold you in my wings of light, to share with you the benefits of your opening to Spirit. Relax yourselves. Enjoy. You may view it as a tea party if you wish. In the company of Spirit, you can only be yourself. In the company of Spirit, you stand with all of your shields down as you are. There is no pretense, there is no projection of ego. There is only being and enjoyment, pleasure, and the love that we feel, the love that we are, the love that we feel intensified whenever we stop creating limitations around ourselves. So we find ourselves together this evening, for whatever reasons, for whatever purposes, here in this space together. Many, many ages have passed since each of us were created, since each of us took individuation out of the cosmic substance of the Father and Mother God. If you could allow me the illusion of time, I would say it has been a very, very long time since that has occurred. And many, many moments and many, many experiences have transpired. And is it not wondrous that all of that has brought us together in this one space at this one time? Here to share, here to unfold this moment, to see what it is that we can experience in this moment. In your lives, you follow moment to moment and day to day, each day opening before you as its own mystery, and each moment opening as its own petal of a flower of mystery. And each moment you peel back another petal and see what the fragrance is that is there for you as you become more and more aligned, closer and closer to the throne of the Creator, whose manifestation we all are. All evolving beings, walking around on the surface of an evolving world. How wondrous it all is. I hope you can share in this perspective with me, to whatever extent you are capable in your daily lives. I know that you have a tendency to become enmeshed in your creations, in your perspectives. This is your learning, your schooling. But I wish to encourage you to take time in your daily lives, as often as you possibly can, to maintain a little bit of clarity and a perspective concerning yourselves and exactly what is going on here. All of the human drama surrounds you each day, all of the creations that you experience of your own doing, reflecting back to you, showing you what you have believed in, challenging you in many ways to expand your beliefs. It is like the Old West, when they say this town is not big enough for the two of us. Well, your old beliefs are not big enough for the two of you. They are not big enough for your limited self and who you truly are. So one of you is going to have to get out of town. And each day you choose, and each moment you choose, which of you is going to get out of town and which is going to stay. Sometimes you choose to stay within your limited perspectives, and sometimes you choose to open to that which is more. And in doing so, you feel an expansion. You feel that precious grace that you know surrounds you. So how can we live in that grace? How can we live in that moment-to-moment experience that is connected to our source, connected to our higher purposes? What's the trick? There must be some trick in all of this. I keep getting caught up in my thoughts and my feelings and doubts and fears. Even though I know I am one with the Creator, that I am a beautiful, radiant master, at times it becomes frustrating, does it not? Having experiences of yourself as divine masters, ascending beings, very powerful creators, and at other times finding yourselves believing that you are less, believing that you are simply these three-dimensional bodies and the minds and the limited programming that you have received throughout this and other earth lifetimes is always there for you to draw upon if you choose. I come to encourage you this evening to live in the grace. There are no masters who have graduated into the ascended state who have not had to pass the tests that you are passing at this time. All of the ascended masters that you call upon in your meditations, those beings that you bring through in your channelings, especially those of the Great White Brotherhood, those beings who have had earth incarnations, of which there have been many. All of these beings that you work with and that work with you have walked the same path that you are walking, have had the same limiting constraints upon their experience as you have. Yet somehow they have mastered the situation and mastered themselves to the point of experiencing the ascension. And now they are in higher dimensions with us, viewing from our perspective that which they have passed through and assisting in every way they can your progress. So your choices are the same choices that have been made by others. Your perspectives, your challenges and tests are the same. And you are going to have a wonderful opportunity to pass all of your tests rather quickly and to move into that ascended state very shortly. In the meantime, while you are preparing yourselves, it behooves you to learn to live in grace, to learn what it means and what it is that is your most direct route to your divinity, to your upliftment. Each of you are unique beings. You each have accumulated a very broad spectrum, a vast array of experiences and programmings and karmas and talents and skills. And you came to this earth life with many skills and talents. Many of these are being activated now as your divinity is unfolding. Living in grace is not quite the same thing as always being in a state of constant bliss. In fact, to live in the third dimensional reality, it is, I would say, quite impossible to constantly experience a state of bliss. You can experience much bliss, but you will also have challenges to overcome and difficulties, choices to make, tests to pass. On your way to your ascension, have you ever seen a track meet in which they have the races known as the hurdles? And have you seen the runners gracefully as they stride and leap over each hurdle? It is quite graceful and beautiful to behold. And yet, of course, if you are one of these runners and you lose your timing and your balance, you can find yourself crashing into many hurdles on your way to the finish line. The difference between them is that the runners who were graceful and leapt over every hurdle were living in grace. The others were choosing to live in lesser perspective realities. They lost a little bit of timing. Perhaps they lost a few seconds, a few critical seconds, and made it to the finish line, of course, but their shins were a little bruised. So what I am saying is that each being has the same tests to pass on the way to the ascension. Not the same manifestations of those tests, but you will be tested in your faith and in your trust. You will make choices. You will choose the divinity that you are over the limited reality. You will have many opportunities, as you have been, to make these choices. And it is not that if you are giving yourself 100% to spirit, you will never feel a challenge and you will never have a hurdle to jump over. It is that your hurdles will be jumped over more gracefully, and you will proceed in a much more enjoyable fashion to your finish line. So your world is very intense at this time, as you all know. The energies that are available to you to experience are, I would say, more intense and polarized than at any other time in Earth's history. You have the opportunity to indulge in great negativities and fears and intensifications of emotional release. You also have the opportunity to partake of incredible amounts of spiritual presence and grace, the presence of the many masters that surround the earth and that are working with you, of which we are many. You could say we are ganging up on you. For every one of you, there are many of us working upon you, giving you our little suggestions and hints. Sometimes it is difficult to get through. Sometimes it is quite easy. But we are always with you and always surrounding you. So the hurdles that you have to jump over are there. And the hurdles do not become any higher or lower. The hurdles are pretty much the same. But if you can learn to live in grace, you will find your leaping ability is quite a bit more amplified. In fact, it might feel like you are flying to the finish line. You can have one of those amazing sports experiences. So it is a matter of perspective and a matter of dedication for you. Dedication comes in with regards to your personal spiritual practices of meditation, your channelings, your affirmations. I suggest that you give yourself to these with full intensity and presence at this time. Allow your higher self to take charge a little bit more in this area. You might find that your higher self is awaiting the opportunity to shower you with its presence and connect with you in a very deep way in your meditations. In order for it to do so, you need to sit down for a little while at least and to give it a chance to do so. It is quite impossible for us to reach you when you are spinning around in your minds. We are with you. In fact, our grace surrounds you, but if you cannot find the stillness within yourself to contact your own higher self, it is very difficult to experience that you are in grace and to receive the messages and empowerment that will make your leaping ability that much easier and will speed you along your way. So again, I say, as all masters have been saying to you, I would say since the beginning of a recorded history at least, to meditate. Spend your time each day giving yourself to your own breathing, focusing upon your own breathing in meditation, focusing upon the inner light. I'm afraid this is one of those things that there's just no getting around. If you wish to come out of this race without a lot of bruises, if you wish to enjoy the experience of the earth's transformation into an ascended being, and you yourselves make that transition into ascended beings, you need to find a way to connect with Spirit in a real way, in a way that allows Spirit to wash over you, to massage you with its gentle, loving currents, and to open to receive the messages and guidance that are so much needed. As I have said, you are in a rather challenging situation here. The world calls to you to believe in many limited beliefs, and there is much of propaganda and brainwashing and manipulation that is here for you. If you choose to indulge in that, you can take many delightful or not delightful side trips. But Spirit will not brainwash you. It will wash you, leaving your brain intact. So it is time that if you give yourself to Spirit and learn to live in grace, Learn to rely on that in a way that you have not perhaps before. You will be shown many examples and have many opportunities to surrender to trust, to surrender to faith in that which you have experienced yourself within, and in that which you have heard from your guidance. To live in grace is not always to have a 100% easy time. It is to always follow your spirit. At times it may seem more difficult to follow your spirit than not to, for your spirit will lead you down many challenging paths. Becoming an ascended master is not something that is necessarily an easy path. It is a very graceful path, and in fact a very simple path. But there are a lot more lawyers in the world than there are ascended masters. And the world does not necessarily value that, does it? The world will value being a lawyer or a doctor or the sports hero. It seems that the ascended masters go about their duties a little bit more unnoticed. And budding ascended masters tend to be those beings who have always had a little bit of difficulty fitting in with the programs of the earth. Many of you, I think, will relate to this. Your time is coming. In fact, it is here. And now, if you will but apply yourselves to the light within yourselves, give yourself to meditation, and ask for the assistance of we of the higher dimensions, you can understand what it is that you have been about on this planet for all of these lifetimes, and you can complete the activation and empowerment that is being asked of you at this time. You can come into your ascendancy, into your empowerment, and this is what you have been born for. And this is why you chose to come to this world, you know. You did not come to be lawyers, though many times you may have been a lawyer. You did not come to be a sports hero, though many times you may have been one. All of that was a learning. All of that was an opportunity for you to understand your interdimensional trainings. I like that phrase, interdimensional trainings. Well, your third dimensional learnings are about complete, as you are probably all getting quite bored with this. Limitation and survival modes. You have learned what it is like to be a limited being. You have learned it quite well. In fact, you have learned it a little bit too well, I think. And it is time, and a blessed time it is, to emerge as ascended beings and to become the teachers and beacons of light that you are intended to be. So learn how to live in grace, my friends. It is simply a matter of following your spirit, attuning yourself and aligning yourself with your guidance in your meditations, trusting that which you receive as intuition and channeled messages, however you receive your guidance, trusting in that and giving yourself to it, surrendering your fear about what will happen when you do that. Fear is the great controlling factor on this world, you know. If you had no fear, you would not be able to be controlled, you would feel completely free. Free to follow your spirits where they led you. Your spirit will lead you on a wonderful adventure. Your spirit will provide for you all that you require. Your spirit, your higher self, the aspect of you which is directly connected with the Creator Himself, knows everything about you, knows everything about all of your previous incarnations, knows every thought that goes through your head, every fear that you feel, everything that is stored within your emotional bodies, and it can provide for you all that you need. It can assist you in your ascension process in a very graceful and wonderful path. It is there to support you. The more you can rely upon this, the more you can trust, the more you will experience the manifestations of that trust. If you trust a little bit, you will receive a little bit of evidence. If you take a leap of faith, you will receive a great deal of evidence that you are taken care of. Your evidence may not come to you in the way that you might hope initially that it will come. It will tend to come in a way that is highest wisdom for you. But it will come and it will support you. It is time now for the meek to inherit the earth. So my friends, know that we are with you and you are in for a wonderful adventure. You have only tapped the tip of the iceberg as of yet. I'm sure you have all had more or less incredible experiences of divine grace in your lives. And yet I tell you, even the most profound experience you have ever had is still the tip of the iceberg to what you are about to experience. So unfasten your seatbelts and enjoy. So it is customary, I believe, at this time for me to ask if you have any questions. I would like to do some meditation with you briefly. But if you have anything you would like to ask, feel free. I do.
I'd like to ask a question. When we were in Kingman, Arizona, there was a lot of flying saucer activity, and we went for a walk in the evening, and I was wondering if some of the falling stars didn't really look like falling stars, and I was wondering if some of those were ships.
Yes. Some were ships. Most of them were ships.
Mm.
Sort of signaling you a little bit of a salute to you, I would say, for a job well done. Whenever you gather together and open yourselves and allow Spirit to come through, a great healing takes place, a great clearing of the earth's energy, a great healing of your own energies. And at that gathering, as you did experience, there was an amazing light show visible from our perspective. So I think it was Ashtar and Company giving you a little bit of a salute. You know, you never do see that many shooting stars in a half-hour period, ordinarily.
Oh, why do I see so many ships there and not here? Is it just because it's in a desert and you can see a lot more of the stars and the ships look like stars? Why is there more activity there than where we live?
There is more activity there on the visible spectrum that you may see with your eyes. There is an equal amount of activity in the skies there as here. It is that the activities that the ships are engaging in at times require them to drop down into more of a third-dimensional energy field in order to do their monitoring of the Earth's energies. They are monitoring the Earth's energies, that which is deep within the Earth from that point. Also, they are watching over the other ships of the lesser ETs, as you know of them. It is a good perspective for them to observe, you see. Mm-hmm. So, as far as the ascended master ships in the Ashtar Command, there are pretty much generally the same amount per capita here as there are there, but there are more ships of lesser nature there than there are here. More bases, you could say. Feels good to breathe, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. You know, your breath is quite a miraculous thing. You take it for granted. It is empowering you throughout your days. Yet if you will spend some time simply focusing upon it in meditation, you will realize that no two breaths are alike, and each breath contains a unique experience, a unique energy. Many people have said how boring it is, how boring it must be to simply sit and breathe and not think about wonderful creative activities, but simply to focus upon the feeling and the sound of my own breath. If you will try this, I think you will get inside of the breath, realize it is your connection to the divine source of all, and that will open into something entirely different. If there are any more questions, now is your chance, or else I will make you all meditate with me.
I would like to ask a question, sort of a personal nature. I have some health problems and stuff, and I just don't really fully know how to deal with it, or what it's fully about. Anything you could tell me would be a big help.
If you would like a more specific answer, you will have to ask a more specific question.
Basically, I seem to be allergic to most everything, and it gets in the way of my taking care of myself and supporting myself. And I don't seem to have come across any good, effective way of dealing with it, healing myself. I would really like to know how to heal myself.
I understand. Welcome to the club, my friends. You are a starseed. It is difficult for starseeds to adapt to Earth life entirely. Many of these beings that surround you have their own strange health issues, Oftentimes these chronic situations are intensified as the ascension process is well underway. So much of this is being cleared. I would recommend you to speak to this healer that is sitting beside me. She has good techniques for dealing with this sort of thing. It is not necessary to go into actually trying to unravel the source of these issues with you. In fact, it is not necessary for the healing of them. You can experience a great deal more vitality and health, but know that you are a starseed and that you are more sensitive to dense energies of every kind, of which pollution and emotional factors are a part. So I will address the issue from a spiritual perspective, in that as you align yourself with your higher self, as you get that additional leaping power, that vitality that comes from activation of your Earth mission, you will also find an increase in your vitality and health. As your auric field expands, you will find yourself protected from many of those things that do not agree with you. So this is my recommendation from a spiritual perspective, and of course you need to deal with this on a physical level as well. I think there are some valuable keys that you could receive. So communicate with this being here. She is a healer. You will, and generally, all of you be healed when you are ready to be healed. It is a mysterious affair sometimes, how your health issues come and go. They are here to show you something, or to affect you in a certain way that you have programmed yourself to be affected. Oftentimes you have chosen bodies that were more sensitive in order to keep yourselves in line a little bit more. Many, many reasons why you are experiencing what you are experiencing, but it sort of comes with the territory, being sensitive and clearing all of these emotional experiences from your beings. It is almost impossible to go through the ascension process without physical symptoms. They are like the hurdles that you have to leap over. You have to leap over them. Whether you knock them down or whether you leap over them, you still have to get beyond them. So, part of the path. Why do you think those of us of the higher realms so rarely incarnate in third dimensional form? It is not a party down here, is it? Sometimes it does not feel very comfortable to be within that limited, dense energy. Well, your light bodies are going to feel a lot more comfortable to you. You will feel quite natural in that ascended state within your light body. That is what you are longing to feel now. That is why your bodies at times feel a little bit too dense, a little too heavy. Sometimes you may even feel that you are tired of dragging it around with you. But it is quite necessary for your work and for your missions. So you have to love them. They will be transformed. You will take them into the next dimension with you. So love them. Love them in every way you can. Let it be a test for you of self-love and nurturance. So I think I would like to do a brief meditation with you. the energies this evening are quite profoundly peaceful. We can facilitate the process of your merging with your light bodies. If this is acceptable to you, simply sit and breathe. And you may envision this entire room surrounded in light, a beautiful, powerful cylinder of light coming down from above, surrounding everyone in this room, surrounding the entire group, and extending deep into the earth. Within this energy field, you are protected and safe. And we are tuning out all dense energies from without. Now I would like to ask you to visualize above yourselves, each individually, a beautiful, radiant pyramid of light. It is large enough to surround you. A pyramid, an individual-sized pyramid. Each of you has your own. And your pyramids are descending now, gradually and slowly surrendering, surrounding you. Simply relax and breathe and feel the energy that comes down around you. This is your light body, a projection of your light body. You may visualize this light pyramid surrounding you now, completely settling down to earth around you. And as it does so, as it settles upon the floor of the pyramid is created energetically to surround you and insulate you completely within it. I ask only that you sit and breathe and allow your higher self and your light body to clear away any dense energies, activate your receptivity and your awakening to your true presence. So we will sit for a few minutes in this wondrous pyramid of light together. Simply breathe and relax. So I ask you now to allow the visualization of your pyramid. Allow the floor of the pyramid to open gently and gradually. And as it opens, allow your pyramid to very gently and gracefully rise back into the higher dimensions. Feel yourself breathing peacefully. As your pyramids rise back up into the higher dimensions, disappearing above you, and allow the cylinder of protective energy to rise also, You may remain in meditation for a while if you wish. I wish to thank you for this opportunity to share my presence. It is such a joy for me to work with you in this way. You are so focused and dedicated. So please, if it feels appropriate to you, if you feel in alignment with my words and what we have shared this evening, remember, to live in the grace, you need only focus your attention in your meditations. Give yourself to that. Call upon your ascended masters and guides to be with you, your angelic guides. Open to receive their presence and their messages. And trust. Allow yourself to be graceful and flow through your challenges. Things are going to get very incredible for each of you. So, prepare yourselves and enjoy the ride. Enjoy yourselves' development into beautiful, spontaneous masters of light. The veils are falling away. And when the veils are fallen, you find yourself as you always have been. Gods and goddesses, radiating love and light. Free. And eternal. Beyond death. Beyond the sleep that you have been within. So enjoy yourselves, my friends. We on our side love you so much. We long to be reunited with you. And we are daily surrounding you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.